Yo, knock him out the box, Rip. Knock him out, Rip. Knock him out the box, Rip. Yo, them beyond the knees, while I'm floating the seas. Decrepit mobiles on TV repping disease, but I'm repping the earth and I'm repping the breeze. Cool, not your missing, don't be stressing me, please. I might live in the trees with the monkeys and me's. Hop mine, hop a mighty Rip with double P. Suplex gorillas, don't be fucking with me. King Kong took the chicken, now I'm setting the breed. And I did it sweat 3, now she rolling with me. Don't need new me, Rip, press to the T. She don't be stressing when she want the D. Well, you gonna get ripped when it come with the D. O to the double N, you don't say it again. Yo, next thing you know, she couldn't leave it alone. Nigga, she spell a nigga name like Mike Jones. Childproof cop nigga, with full grown. 2 shots salute to that line door.
Welcome back to another episode of Connected Dots. I'm your host, Duquan Hicks, aka Lou Icewater. Today I have a very special guest. This is the guy that does all my logos. This is the man that has done logos for DJ Shakim. He's done logos for schools. He's done logos for Stay Foggy, Push Mud, The Incomparable, The Incredible, BB, aka Ladle, excuse me. Ladle Creative. How you doing, brother?
Thank you.
All right, man.
All right, so my last name is Ladle or Ladle. That's the native pronunciation. I'm from Nigeria originally, but my company is called Ladle Creative, and ladle like the spoon that you it's kind of like a spoon that you use to ladle soup.
Okay.
And the reason I called it that is because I'm all about sharing. When I started the company, I felt like, the gifts that I had as a graphic designer, someone that was interested in, computers and all that kind of stuff. I wasn't putting that to use. So, what you do with the ladle is you scoop and you pour out, when you're serving people.
Okay.
And my goal was to pour out my gifts, to, the people that needed me, the people that needed the skills that I have. And that's why I called it that. Initially, it was called Ladle Love, and that's because I felt that, the things that we care about, the things that we, put our passions towards, the stuff that we love to do, and I was pouring out, all my passions and that sort of thing. But, for marketing purposes, I felt it was better to change it to Ladle Creative.
Okay.
Now, at this point in time, I'm going through an evolution, so to speak, in which I'm wanting to expand and, give more of myself, to my community and so on and so forth, and, in teaching graphic design class, my local art center.
Okay. And where's that location located?
That's in Concord, and it's off of
Concord, North Carolina?
Yeah, Concord, North Carolina.
Okay.
Off of Moore Drive, close to, not Moore Drive. It's off of Kerr Street, actually.
Okay.
And Kerr Street is a main road close to downtown. And, it's, soon, it's going to be part of the city's Parks and Recs program.
Okay.
Which the art center is part of, and hopefully very soon this year that is going to launch, and it's just my way to kind of teach people that graphic design is not just a profession. It can be I think I wanted to be part, like a hobby in which, because at this point in time, the way that technology has evolved,
Right.
like we're all making TikToks, we're all on Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
we're all on Facebook, um, you know, and nobody's just able to work their 9 to 5 anymore.
Right.
Everybody's got their own side hustle. Everybody's got their own brand that they're trying to promote. And graphic design is, you know, very key knowledge to be very productive in that space. So like, you know, if you if you have a side business you have an idea for, um, graphic design. I mean, it's like any kind of art. Like some people like to paint,
Mm-hmm.
some people like to draw or write. But graphic design just takes art and it's basically just digital art using digital tools to design different things or to create. And so if that is something that you have in your toolbox, then everything that you do comes out looking good, or better than it would, or basically you'll be able to better put your ideas down and share them with the world.
So let me ask a question. What got you into this, graphic design? What back in the day, what made you say, you know what, this is what I want to do? And did you have any idols that, or anybody that was special that made you be like, I'm going to do this?
Okay. So, I mean, I think initially I was just interested in art in general.
Right.
But I was also interested in um, communication, writing. So in high school,
Mm-hmm.
I did, even though I grew up in Nigeria,
Okay.
I did go to an American school.
Right.
It was a missionary school, and um, we had creative writing classes. We had art. Now in high school, I was taking advanced placement art, and I was doing a lot of reading and writing, and getting excited about expressing myself. And eventually I ended up in college, but I guess through it all, talking to my advisors and everything, they're like, yeah, you're good at these things, you should probably go into art or writing. And I did, end up in the States at college, and I tried out both majors, but
Mm-hmm.
Nothing was quite hidden right for me. Because like fine art is, um, it was cool, and I was into it, but I felt I wasn't sure. Like I didn't have a lot of advice as to how I could make it a career. Whether it was writing or being an artist.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to be a poor artist, where I just, at least I wanted to have a way to, make money and survive in the world. And I felt like I wasn't sure I could do that in these paths. And, after, and, honestly, I ended up dropping both. Like I switched from English to art back to uh, English, and then an advisor, someone suggested that I explore graphic design, because actually that's kind of what my art reminded them of, was because graphic design, um, I think sometimes it can be uses a lot of shapes.
Right.
And so I like to use a lot of shapes. And, you know, I've always liked to use shapes in my art. So.
Yes. Look at sorry. Look at what we're wearing. You know, you did this shirt, and you, of course, this is your brand. You did that shirt, by the way. So if you want to know, this guy, he's phenomenal. So let me ask you another question then. So how do you know? What is your process when you're making a logo? What is the process? Like, do you go by what the person is? What is the process if someone says, I want a logo? What is your process in making a dope logo or a logo in general?
Okay, so, you know, if you remember when we first met, now the first logo you had me do was just a recreation of a logo that you already had that you bought from New York.
Right.
The second one, you wanted something new and original.
Right.
And so the first thing I did was sit down with you and have a talk with you to find out what you were really about. And I think, you know, it's about knowing, you know, who you are and what message you're trying to portray, you know, or to communicate to the world and your community. So, excuse me.
Sorry, America. You know, people cough. People cough, America. Okay, people cough.
So, it's just, I think that's one of the things I want to, you know, the angle that I'll be coming from when I'm teaching these classes is that, you know, graphic design is a way to do some introspection as to why are you doing what you're doing? Why do you want to start this business? You know, why do you have your passion about this? You know, because most times it's not just about the money.
Right. That's what I love about you. You're about getting to know the person instead of just saying, okay, I want an order, boom, boom. I love that about you. That makes the product more genuine.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you want authenticity, and that means you're gonna look at you know, internally to find out who you are as a person, you know, to understand what you want, you know, logo. So like when I think you came to me about your brother's logo,
right?
DJ
Shakim.
Okay. And you said, okay, I want you to do a logo for him, but I'm not telling him I'm having this done.
Right.
So the tricky part was like, okay, I don't know this guy. How am I gonna make a logo for this DJ? I've never met him. I've never talked to him. But what was really great was like you had just done a whole podcast where he was the main guest,
right? And
he talked about himself. He talked about how he came up in the game, and you know, like just his whole history of who he was and how he became DJ Shakum. And like I just watched the whole thing, and from there I was able to, you know, take so many key points. And you know, the first draft, I think I was just like, hey, check this out. This is the first thing I came up with. I'm on the right track. And both of you guys just loved it.
Yes.
And like took it, you know, it's like, you know, I think I was still sleeping when he called me.
Yes.
Early in the morning and be like, yo, how much do I owe you for this? You know, because he was so excited about, you know, like what I've come up with. And I wasn't really even, you know, I was just kind of getting started, you know, and the idea that I had for him. And so, you know, it's been really great doing that, you know, and it's, I think in a sense, it's almost like a puzzle, you know, when you're trying to like find the symbols that really represent someone in an instant, where someone can look at something and be like, yo, I know exactly what that's about, you know, and that's what you're looking to do when you're creating a logo. And so, yeah.
Okay. That's just like the Connected Dots logo that you made. By the way, he did the intro to the show. This is the guy. But everyone I talked to, they said that this Connected Dots logo is the best they think that you've done. Even Jay Banks,
Oh, wow.
he said, yo, this logo is the best logo you have done for me. And I'm like, wow, you know, and
wow.
I'm getting a lot of great feedback from that, just like all the other logos.
Yeah, well, for that, you know, I mean, I've been thinking about the logo for, you know, and the thing is, like, when you're thinking about these things, they don't always work out the first time.
Right.
You know, the first draft, you know, I was trying to, you know, because of course, I'm trying to represent what the logo says, you know, and like, and in that, you know, you are connecting the dots, you know, you are speaking to an audience and trying to help them find answers, or, you know, which in a sense, you know, you're asking questions, you know,
right,
of yourself, and you're telling the audience, okay, you know, what do you think about this, you know, and because essentially as we go through life, we're all just trying to, nobody knows, you know, what they're doing.
Right, exactly.
And
exactly.
we're all trying to figure it out as
Right.
we go along. And I think that's kind of what I wanted to represent. You know, like initially, when I did the big, like, what was the end of days?
Oh yeah,
that's what you call it.
Woo, the end of days. Yes. I love that logo. That's my favorite logo. To be honest, that's
Okay.
That's my favorite.
So it's just like, let me describe it. It's essentially it's supposed to be like him staring out into this vastness, you know, and you can see essentially like the star, you know, all these like between two mountains, there's like the logo, but behind it is, you know, the moon or the sun, and you can see the vastness of the world and the universe essentially, and everything is like stars everywhere, you know. And initially, like, for connecting the dots, I was like, oh, maybe I could just use that too, and I was trying to put that into like, you know, inside of a mic shape, you know, and, you know, like all the, and use, you know, because in a microphone you have these holes that that's where, you know, it collects the sound, or screen, you know, the sound travels through on a microphone, but it didn't work out because it was too convoluted. So, but I did want, like, actually, in that logo, because I knew how you're going to use it, I wanted, when I started over again, I wanted to have something in which it was easy to, it's a dynamic logo and easy to animate, so that it could work as a sort of intro.
Right.
And so, but, you know, like, the lettering I think I used for that was supposed to be like graffiti and hip hop sort of thing. So, that's kind of like something that originates from New York as well.
Right.
You know, and,
shout out to NYC, my hometown, my hometown.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah. So that's how, you know, that came about. But I think, you know, with every logo that you do or that I've worked on, it's always a kind of journey, you know, and trying to piece together different elements to make a singular image, and that's just it, you know. So, you know, I wouldn't say that, like, cause like here's the thing, I'm just I would say that like I'm a singular graphic designer or graphic artist,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like opposed to, you know, you, because let's say you go to Charlotte, right?
Right.
You have marketing agencies that have like, you know, departments that, you know, come up with a logo, and they have teams that are working on designing one logo for a client.
Right.
You know, they have, you know, and it all folds into like marketing plan, and that sort of thing. And it's often very precise, and you know, and sometimes they come up with amazing stuff, you know. But you know, as someone that's like doing this as a side hustle, you know,
Mm-hmm. Right.
I knew that, you know, as a community, for most Black entrepreneurs, they're not gonna have access to, I don't know how much, you know, to like hire an agency to do a logo for them.
Mm.
You know,
That's facts. Facts.
and so, you know, I was like, okay, um, you know, there's people out there that need a logo, and want their stuff to look good, but you know, they don't have anybody to go to that can really speak to them and what they're wanting to do. And so I decided to step into that role. Now I've worked, you know, at bigger, you know, businesses where, you know, you have to sit in meetings and discuss, you know, what the plan is and how we're going to do this and all of that. But, you know, I do like working individually with people because, you know, I think, in a sense, you know, when they tell me about, you know, who they are and what they're about, I have to interpret, you know, everything myself, and like basically, you know, fully, you know, try to understand them, step into their shoes as much as possible, and you know, basically, you know, say, okay, I understand. This is, you know, and I always do this, is like, okay, so if I'm hearing this right, this is what you want to do, and this is where you're trying to go, and then I'm like, okay, based on what we talked about, this is how I see you, and this is how I would put it. And if they're like, oh yeah, man, you get me, and we're good to go.
And trust me, once he gets you, you are good to go.
So that's, you know, usually how I like to do it, you know. And I think going, you know, from the days that I started, things have, you know, have just evolved, you know, with how I do things, you know. So you know, evolved with technology, try to use different tools, you know. Even now I'm in the process of you know, in the process of creating that class, trying to engage with different types of platforms, and you know, see what I can come up with, and you know.
Okay. Well, I got two questions.
Uh-huh.
What is the greatest success you've had doing this, and what is the one regret that you had doing this? That if you had to do something all over, how would you do it, and what is the best success that you've had doing this?
I think probably the best success, like the one logo that I've done that's gotten the most that's been seen by the most people is the DJ.
Shakim, yes.
Yeah. And because he just has a huge platform.
Yes, he does.
He's doing like a Vegas residency, and we've continued to work together. I mean, I think he wants me to do a website for him now, which is interesting.
Yes.
Because, I had to do some research on like websites that, American DJs have. You have, especially hip hop DJs, and the thing is like they're really not represented online.
Yes. I don't know why. That's another topic I gotta talk about America. Yes.
So I mean, like I did find some, but it's like some of the websites are from like the 2000s, early 2000s, and it's like really not, the center of how people, find them and reach them. I think our hip hop has always been plugged into the community, but I think we've been slow to adopt, technology of being online.
Right, I agree.
And now if you look at Europe and see, because you got the trance or like, well, I forget whatever genre. It's a different genre than like R&B and hip hop, but they're definitely more plugged in online. They're definitely better at marketing themselves. So like, well, you just have more of a presence. So like, if you go to those websites, it's very, very well done, and and so I guess the interesting thing to look at is like, how can we change that? How can I, do that for your brother?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. Now, what is the regret?
I think, I'm trying to, because I don't really have like a lot of regrets with.
Just one.
Yeah.
One of your, that's, you'd be like, man, I should have, or man, I could have, or.
I think maybe, there's some jobs that kind of like slipped by, where someone contacted me and I wasn't, sometimes, because of course, I'm working full time. I got, family responsibilities,
of course,
and that sort of thing. And I'm not always in the best place to respond to someone.
Right, I feel what you're saying.
And I think that's one thing. There's one guy in mind that he was trying to start like a t-shirt brand or whatever. But I was dealing with a lot at the time, and I couldn't really follow up with him like I wanted to.
Okay.
Yeah.
I understand that. So, before we go, I want you to give out your information. How can you be reached? How can you be contacted?
All right. So, I have, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, and, just about everything. Right now, you can go to ladlecreative.com. That's my, website for client services. That's LADLE creative.com. And then I just started a new website, which is, because I think like I said, I'm in this transition right now. So not only to teach more, but also to be more of, a graphic artist myself, and start putting out my own work. It's called ladle.life.
Okay.
And that's LADLE.LIFE, and that's my newest website. It's been launched. I have products on there. Like, I just started it like a few days ago. So
okay, right.
yeah, but there's more to come on there, and I'll be, if you subscribe to it, I'll be sharing more information as time goes on.
All right. Well, like I said, man, thanks again for another episode of Connected Dots with my man, BB, the infamous BB. That's what I'm going to start calling him. And I am Duquan Hicks, a.k.a. Lou Ice Water. Peace. Signing off. One life, one love, one Lou. Peace.